right into our next availability with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., driver of the number 47 Hike Motorsports Chevrolet. If you have a question for Ricky, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Who'd like to start us off? Okay, we'll start with Jonathan and come up to Bob.
Jonathan Field, the racing experts. Just get kind of started off with, I saw you and Noah Gregson were kind of talking on Twitter a little bit. Is there any history there? What's that all about?
There's no history there. Noah likes to have a lot of fun and give people hard times, so I like giving it back to him. Before I sent a tweet back to him yesterday, I told him I was sending one. He says, well, I got one in the chamber ready to send back. So, I don't know. He seems like he has a ton of free time on his hands, so I'm sure he's always looking for ways to spice things up. So, no, we're friends, but it's definitely fun. I think, he's obviously, got a lot of energy and excitement around him, and so, yeah, I like to give it back to him a little bit.
Go to Bob.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. On a weekend like this where there's two tire options, are you behind as a single-car team?
Definitely doesn't help. I think, we get one data point on each set. I think, I'm like Chris. I'd like to just have one, option. Preferably the softer option. But I get what having two does, and like Chris said, being able to have a test session where if it is a disaster with that one, then you have the other option to run. But I do like that we're going a direction of softer tires and tires that wear out. So hopefully, we can continue to build on that. I think we saw at the All-Star race that the softer option was by far dominant, even on the long run with a track that doesn't wear it out. So I assume here at Phoenix will probably be really similar to that. I think at Richmond you get a lot of tire wear in general, and so the softer tire wore out, and there was different strategies to be had. I think here. You're probably going to save them for the last two runs if you want a good finish. But it does open the option up with, different strategies to, keep you on the lead lap depending on, kind of where you're running and what you're doing, or trying to get some stage points or, whatever. So, it's just something that, for us, we haven't ran that well here at Phoenix. And so, Mike and I had been talking about, trying to watch what some of these leaders do on green flag pit stops with, that other option tire. If you got somebody that, pits and puts the options on versus the proms and, trying to, get a stage win, now all of a sudden they're running quite a bit faster. So we might have to react if we are, in the position of, trying to stay on the lead lap or something like that. So, hopefully we're not in that position, but if that is the case, it could, switch people's strategies up, quite a bit throughout the race, just depending on, kind of reacting to what other teams do. But I think if you're going to win the race, you got to keep them, I would assume, both for the last stage.
Ricky, Tim Cattle, Famo Motor Racing Network. Kind of an off-topic question for you. With some of the bigger tracks that are coming up on the schedule, like next week in Vegas, you've got Homestead, you've got Darlington. What does it take to run the wall at those particular racetracks? Yeah,
I mean, I think, you got to have a good car capable of doing it. And then, there's definitely an art to it as well. I think, it's interesting. I feel like a lot more people can run closer to the wall now with this race car. You can, I wouldn't say bounce it off the fence, but you can touch the fence and kind of get away with it. Obviously, the toe links are kind of sensitive. But we enter on the wall so close now that it's not like you're sliding up to it. And then, it's odd, downshifting at some of those racetracks and running the wall, like at Homestead, right? Like that's something that we never did. And, used to with the old cars, you had to, keep your momentum up, and, you had to enter with speed. You had to have a lot of speed up there, not shifting. And now it's like you can just kind of go in there, use some brake, downshift. And so I feel like it's gotten more people more comfortable, running the wall, and it's the preferred lane. So it kind of is something that we all, just had to do, right? So, there's still guys that are better at it than others, and you can tell which cars are handling better, inches away from the wall. And, I think it's fun, and this car's fun running up there. But, I don't think to me, it just gets the wheel out of it, turning the wheel less, and you got less and your car has more rear grip because, anytime you turn the wheel with these cars, with all the caster that we have, it takes rear grip away from the car. And, with our old cars, I felt like we ran up there because we gained, like a lot of side force, and that kind of aero balance tightened your car up. And this, I feel like it's more of just gets the wheel out of it and, gives you more rear traction.
To that point, who do you think in the Cup Series is the best at running the wall right now?
I would put Larson and Reddick and Bell probably at the top. I think, they were some of the best in the old cars, and, so I feel like it's made it easier for them. It's not like it made it more difficult. I felt like it's brought people, that weren't as great at it, into being able to do it, a little easier. So I would say those three are probably still the best.
Hey, Ricky, Bob Francis, Go Full Throttle Racing News. A lot of buzz around Kyle and Christopher getting ready for the High Limits kickoff Thursday in Las Vegas. What are your plans to get back out on the dirt track?
Yeah, I was just actually talking to my dad about he's working on our NOS Energy Drink sprint car, over the next few weeks. And I plan on running Talladega, the 360 races there, and then heading over towards Texas for the high limit races there. So that'll be kind of the kickoff to my sprint car racing for the season, and we'll kind of see what. I don't have a set schedule. I think if it was up to my dad, we would race every weekend, but just logistically trying to do everything. It's normally just kind of dad and I when we go racing, so try not to overwhelm him, even though he's ready for it.
Hi, Michelle Aaron with the Podium Finish. This kind of piggybacks off an earlier question, but what do you think separates the good cars at Phoenix from the really great cars at Phoenix?
Yeah, there's Phoenix. Obviously you see teams and cars that are always at the front here, and it seems like no matter what, those cars are it. So for us, we have struggled really bad here at Phoenix over the last 2-3 years, and in both races. We've had some bright spots, so we've kind of revamped our program for this weekend to try and get our car to be a good car. I don't think it'll be a great car yet. I think we kind of got to build a foundation. It seems like to me anytime you get to a racetrack where you can you're shifting a lot, I think that kind of brings the Fords into play a little bit on the short tracks. And then obviously the Penske cars are by far elite here, and then I think it's kind of a mixed bag of which cars are better after that. So you got to have a car that can get into the corner with some stability and not be too loose in. And then, obviously your front tires work right dead center of the corner. Trying to get that balance right is very difficult here at Phoenix. And then, both ends being so different, if you can have that in both ends, then you're pretty elite. And I think you see that, throughout this race, both races here. I think the 12-22 are definitely by far the best.
We'll come up front to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio and Catchfence.com. So you were talking about the high limit kickoff at Las Vegas, but I'm curious. Larson has said that having Christopher Bell run in that series just elevates the awareness of dirt car racing. And I'm curious, I saw him speak to you, I think we were at Daytona at Media Day, and he was giddy. Giddy's the word that Larson used. And you told him you were racing Texas, and he just, he's like, I want to go, you could just kind of see it in him. How much has opening the floodgate for Christopher Bell? We've watched him win the last 2 races. How much do you think that has helped his mental psyche and, just making him more comfortable on the track?
Yeah, I think I look back at my Cup career, and I was asked to quit racing sprint cars when I switched to Cup my rookie season in 2013. I mean, I was in the Xfinity Series. I was racing 30 to 40 times a year in sprint cars, as well as racing the Nationwide Series at the time. And so, for me, I was super bummed, and it kind of made you resent racing NASCAR a little bit, right? And I was like that until really 2016, that I didn't get back in a sprint car for those years. And so I could see that in Christopher as well. And like you said, that's the most excited I've seen him be was Daytona 500 Media Day when we were talking about him racing sprint cars again. And so it's cool to see. I think obviously he owes a lot to Ty Gibbs for that. Ty's just as excited as Christopher is, being teammates with him at the Chili Bowl, and him talking about him running sprint cars now. And so yeah, obviously I think for me it just puts you in a better headspace coming into the races. And obviously I think you put Christopher in a better headspace with as fast as they are already, and you're already seeing those results.
Any final questions for Ricky?
Ricky Gay McDonald in Fox Charlotte. With these more normal tracks coming up, like a Las Vegas, like a Homestead, is this the time where you're really about to see what your team has with these more normal tracks coming up?
Yeah, for sure. I think for us at Hayek Motorsports, I think we knew with the schedule layout that we needed to really capitalize on those first couple races for us to gain the points that we needed, and we did that. We left Atlanta 8th in points, and we knew going into Dakota, we didn't get a lot of time. We got in that first lap wreck at Watkins Glen on the backstretch there, so we didn't get time on that new tire, and we really struggled at COTA with that. So, for us to kind of get out of COTA with an 18th place finish was, I was pretty excited about that for as bad as I felt like, we were running. We know that Phoenix is going to be a big test for us, to kind of see where our short track program is. But then, yeah, we're excited to get to the 1.5 mile racetracks. I think we're closer as a team, and our balance of the race car and speed is better on the 1.5 miles than we are at the short tracks right now. So it'll be nice to run Phoenix for us, kind of get a baseline, see where we are, and then jump to those 1.5 miles and kind of get back on the horse of getting good finishes and running closer to the front. And hopefully we do that this weekend at Phoenix as well. But we do know that this has been a struggle for us, so it'll be nice to get that short track package, get a run on it, kind of reevaluate as we go back to the 1.5 miles. And yeah, I mean, you got to be good at all racetracks, so we're just trying to elevate our game at all of them.
Ricky, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah,
and good
thank
luck
you.
this weekend. And just a quick reminder to the media, we